lovely humans, welcome to Starlight the Stitches. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you like crochet and yarn hauls, crochet book reviews, end of the month finished project videos, all sorts of lovely crafty goodness, then hit subscribe and join my subscribers, because my subscribers are the best. So if you are also the best, come and join us. This is our lovely, happy, positive place here on the internet. Thank you for joining me today. It's a strange day of the week for me to upload. I normally do it on a Wednesday, and today is Friday. It is Friday, the 28th of July, and it is my birthday. So thank you for joining me for my birthday Q&A. I do this every year. I asked a couple of weeks ago for some questions. I have them on my old phone here. So you guys have asked me some questions, and I am gonna answer them. Yeah. That's it today. I apologise for no video last week. It's been very busy. I always seem to come a cropper around this time of the year, and my upload schedule goes a bit higgledy-piggledy. I will try and get back to normal, but summer holidays and all that sort of stuff, you'll forgive me if things are a bit skew-if. Anyway, today we're celebrating my birthday, so let's just start. So the first question that we have is from mshowbro9187. And they say, how long have you been crocheting for and what made you get into crochet? Now, I have answered this before, but I will just briefly go over it again. So I learnt to crochet in the second lockdown, which was in November of 2020. I taught myself to crochet using videos on YouTube, and I have not stopped since. As you can see, this is just a small selection of the things that I have made, and every month I tend to do a video showing what I have made in that month, and at the end of each year I like to do a yearly roundup of what I have made throughout the year. So yeah, November 2020, so it's been nearly 3 years since I started learning to crochet. Right, Sydney Jobson. Sydney is lovely, always comments on my stuff, so hello Sydney. Sydney has got 3 questions. The first one is, other than crochet, what do you like to do for fun? I love live music, so my favouriteest thing is to go to live gigs. However, it does cost quite a bit of money these days, so I kind of have to space them out. I haven't got anything booked now until December. I'm going to go see a band called Suede, which was a bit of a sort of late 90s band. And I'm going to go and see them with my sister. I haven't had many gigs this year, which is a bit disappointing. I've been to see Sam Ryder with my daughter, and I think that's it this year, which is quite poor for me. I like to try and get in about 4 a year if I can. Money's tight for everyone, but that is one of my favourite things to do. The other thing that I really like to do is a bit of amateur dramatics, yes. I'm currently rehearsing for a 60s show, and it's a play called Life, and there's 5 girls and 1 boy in it, and it's all heavily based around 60s music, and it's about like the life of these 5 different women, and it's really good fun, and I have to sing in it, and I haven't sung for many years on stage. It's only a little stage. When I say amateur dramatics, I really mean like Amdram. But we've got our own little mini stage that we use. But that's really good fun, and I do rehearsals for that every week. My daughter has also got the Amdram bug, so yeah, it thinks it runs in the family. That is what I like to do other than crochet. The next question is, what's your favourite TV show or movie? I can't ever pick one. Right, movies easy. I've got a top 5. So it's Moulin Rouge, Kill Bill Volume 1, Beauty and the Beast, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and this is really cheesy, but Eurovision Story of Fire Saga. Those are my 5 top movies. A bit of a weird mixed bunch there, but those are my top 5. Favourite TV programmes? I really like kitsch things like The Great British Sewing Bee, that's just finished. Oh my God, I love that programme. Great British Sewing Bee, absolutely love it. I keep trying to persuade Wendy Stanbury to join in for that. I keep like tagging her every time they put up an application thing. I love The Great British Bake Off. I also love Strictly Come Dancing. So those are like my sort of kitschy ones. And of course, things like Stranger Things, The Umbrella Academy, I'm a very big fan of. Yeah, those are my kind of top. I did like Game of Thrones when that was on, and like everyone else was quite disappointed with the ending. So I don't watch a huge amount of TV. Like I don't watch any soap operas or anything like that. But yeah, those are my TVs and my films. And then the third question was, do you have any other crafty hobbies other than crochet? Sorry if that's too many. Not really. I do cross stitch. I used to do cross stitch years ago. I haven't picked up my cross stitch for a long time. It's all been crochet. I made my big sort of happy project a short while ago, which I've done a video on. A short while ago, it's probably like a year or two ago, which I've done a video on. But apart from that, I can't knit. I'm not very good with like paper craft and stuff like that. So not really, no. Crochet and cross stitch, that's it really. I can hand sew a little bit, but I'd love to learn how to sew properly. Like if I live closer to Wendy, I'm going to say Wendy's name again, Wendy Stanbury. If I live closer to her, then I would like pay her to give me sewing lessons and learn how to make my own clothes. But I just cannot get my head around a sewing machine. So I found my things and I think I'm going to stick with them. Thank you, Sydney, for your questions. Annie B says, is there something you think you would like to crochet but haven't tried yet? No, I don't think so. I don't think there is. No, I've made some dresses. I've made lots of toys. I've made things for my daughter. I've made cardigans and rugs for my house and cushion covers and kitchenware. I've made gifts for family and friends. I don't think there is anything that I've found, not that I've found yet, that I would like to crochet that I haven't made yet. Also, is there a yarn you would like to try but haven't yet, maybe due to cost or availability? Again, no. I'm not too fussy about yarns, as long as when I say fussy, I would love to be able to afford to buy some hand-dyed yarns, because some of the ones that I've seen, oh my God, they're so beautiful. But number one, I wouldn't know what to do with them. Number two, because they are a lot more expensive, it would have to be something magical, and I just don't think that my crochet skills are, like, they're all right. I'm not saying I'm terrible, but I don't think my crochet skills would do those hand-dyed yarns justice. I do like looking at them though. Never purchased any. She also said, what's your favourite thing to crochet and why? It depends on my mood. Generally, I like to do amigurumi because I find you get a finished product quicker, which I like. It's like almost more of an instant gratification. However, I really enjoy all my wearables that I've made, my cardigans and my dresses, the stuff I've made for my daughter Abigail. So it depends on my mood, but as a general rule, I would say amigurumi. My house is insane, and if you come to my house and you walk to my door, you would think I was crackers. It's just filled with stuff. So thank you, lovely, lovely Annie, for your question. Then we have a question for Drakenheart. And they said, if you could buy one thing right now, no matter how much money it is, what would you buy? A house? I would buy my own home. I think that's probably a dream that's not ever going to be realised. I love my home that I live in now, but it is not mine, alas. I rent. I have a lovely landlady though, so that's always helpful. But my house that I live in now is very close. My mum lives just there. My daughter's school is just there. And my work is about 10 minutes that way. So where I live now is just perfect. But if I had money and I could spend it on whatever I wanted, I would buy my own home. The second question would be, do you like paper crafts? I have mentioned I'm not very good at paper crafts. They say, I personally really like making collage type of things. My daughter, who is 9 years old, she absolutely loves papercraft. I mean, as I sit here currently, I hoovered my house this morning and my dining room floor is covered in little bits of paper. She is always making stuff and she's really good at it for 9 years old. So she is the papercraft and I am the yarn craft. What's your favourite book or book series? My favourite book ever is a book called Divided Kingdom by Rupert Thomas. It's a crazy, bonkers, weird book. But I've read it about 10 times. I absolutely love it. It's quite crackers, but also easily believable, if that makes sense. My favourite book series ever, it's a tie and it's really cliched, but it's the Hunger Games or the Harry Potter series. I love those books. My daughter has her own set of Harry Potter books, so she doesn't have to touch my Harry Potter books. My Hunger Games books, again, I have read those series several times for both of them, and I love them. But my most favourite book is Divided Kingdom. Also, I would say like still within my top 5. I love 1984. It's a wonderful book. Day of the Triffids is another fantastically written book. I kind of like those slightly things are all going wrong kind of books. When I was younger, my favourite books, I don't know if anybody remembers these, they were called point horrors. I loved point horror books. I've recently picked up a bunch from a secondhand book sale that I got for like £1 each. I would love to collect all the point horror books again, and it would just remind me of my teenagehood. They are not the best books, but I just loved them when I was younger. And then another question from Drake and Hart is, if you could stand or be really close to a planet without any risk, what planet would you choose? That's an interesting question. None in our solar system. None of them really interest me that much. I do like space and planets. I don't think I'd want to go anywhere else because there's nothing there. There is a made-up planet. If any of you are familiar with Mariah Elizabeth, she has a made-up planet called Nuffleupagus, and some of her little creatures that she's made, they live on there. So I would go to Nuffleupagus. That's not going to mean anything to some of you. Kathleen, my lovely Kathleen, who I love dearly, she says, hi Alice, are you a Beatles fan and is your mum? Now, when I was growing up, I remember my mum playing the Beatles all the time. So yes, I am a Beatles fan. I wouldn't say that I would go out of my way to pick the Beatles on the jukebox if there was other stuff there, but I have grown up with their music, and yes, my mum was a fan, or is still a fan, I guess. So yes, I am a Beatles fan, and I know most of their back catalogue along with the B-sides. She also says, do you enjoy gardening, and what is your favourite flower or flowers? Gardening is a weird one. So I go through stages. I have got quite a big garden, and sometimes I struggle to keep on top of it. I've got lots of trees and bushes and things, and it's quite hard because it's just me at home with my daughter. It's quite hard sometimes for me to keep on top of it. When everything is kept on top of, I love it. I love like pruning and like pottering around and tidying things up and planting pots and things like that. When it gets out of hand, like in spring when I come to start doing my garden for the year, can't do it, drives me nuts. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it, I'm going to have a cup of tea instead. So yes, I do like gardening, but I just wish I had someone to help me sometimes. A couple of weeks ago, a good friend of mine, he popped round and he helped me with some of my gardening. I mowed the lawns and he trimmed all my bushes, so that was very kind of him because I couldn't be bothered. I just kept looking at it and going, no, I'm not doing that. My favourite flower is a sunflower. It has been a sunflower for many, many, many years. I love sunflowers. I think they'll always be my favourite. They're not the prettiest flower, but I just love how bold and vibrant they are. I love sunflowers so, so much. Alice LeBlanc Pusheen, who has been a long time subscriber as well. What crochet book are you going to review next? I don't know. What I try and do is put out a community post a couple of days before I'm due to film the video for the crochet book review. So if you are subscribed to the channel, just make sure that you keep an eye on the community post, and then you can have a say in what books are coming up next. I would like to show off some of the books that I've recently had delivered from David and Charles. They sent me a little care package with some lovely new crochet books in, so it's going to be one of those next, but you guys will have the ultimate say. Do you like Good Vibes Yarn clearance bags? Yes, I do. I still get the clearance bags and I still do a review of them every single month. When do you next crochet monster pattern on Lovecraft? Oh yes, my crochet monster patterns that I've been releasing on Lovecraft. So I've done 2 so far. The last one didn't do quite so well, so I'm stepping back a little bit. I'm not pushing myself too hard. So Sleepy Monster did fantastically well. Bimble not quite so well, which I was surprised about because that was a slightly more interesting pattern, I thought. And they were the same price online on my Lovecrafts account. So I don't know when I'm going to do my next monster pattern. Maybe a month or 2, not sure. Do you have some rainbow DK yarn? I've got lots of rainbow yarn of all weights and sizes. And happy early birthday to you. Have a great time, from Alice LeBlanc Pushing. Thank you so much, Alice. Great names are shared between us. And Migdalia, who is also a long-time subscriber, said, what made you start crochet? So as you know, as I said earlier, I started in the second lockdown, and I started because I was bored. I was still, I was furloughed from work. My daughter was actually back at school because the schools had reopened, but my work had not. So I was stuck at home on my own, quite bored, and I had some crochet hooks because I tried to learn how to do it before, and I had some old yarn, and I just went to YouTube and was like, I'm going to try that and I'm going to actually nail it this time. And I pursued, and that's what made me start, because I was bored. Also, what is your favourite tea or coffee? Now, I think that most of you know it will always be tea. Quite often at the end of my videos, I will say, I'm going to have a cup of tea because I love tea. Tea is my number one drink of choice. I don't drink coffee at all. I don't like it. So a cup of tea, that's my favourite out of tea or coffee. So thank you guys for your questions. If you did not get a question in, then you'll have to wait till next year now. I did share the post several times to try and get as many questions in as possible. But instead, we have our 7 people who have given us questions, and I hopefully have answered them to your satisfaction. Happy birthday to me, which is a weird thing to say. Thank you so much for all your support all the time, and all your lovely comments and messages. I'm going to celebrate my birthday with my family, and then the day after my birthday, which is Saturday, we have got our local Pride event. So myself and my daughter are going. One of my friends is actually performing on the day on the stage, so we'll be going to support them and all my lovely LGBTQA+ friends. So we're going to have a lovely weekend together. I have made something special for both of us for this weekend, and you will get to see. You've seen my daughter's top. You have not seen what I have made for myself. You will see that next week. So time for me to go. Thanks for joining me, and thank you to all of you who have sent in a question for today. Look after yourselves, look after your loved ones. I will see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, my lovely friends. Mwah. Bye bye.